Hello. Welcome back to the True Life Experience. My name's Travis, and I have the honor and the privilege of having one of my good friends, Hunter, here. Hunter is a stellar guy. I've worked with him several times. He's been an assistant for a mentor of mine, but he's also a really good fucking rapper. Like, when this guy drops some fucking shit, and it's just like, holy shit. He's a good friend, and tonight we're gonna be talking about a lot of things. We're gonna talk about spirituality. We're gonna be talking about just his life, his background, and we're gonna be talking some about I just did very recently. But Hunter, just for everyone here, like everyone that's tuning in, like who are you?
Yeah. So it's hard to wrap that up in a quick nutshell, but I'll try my best. It's like I like to think that I'm a pretty like just kind of crazy person. I've done a lot of insane things in my life, and I'm really creative. I've done a lot of self-help and spiritual deep divings,
For
and
sure.
you can find me in like fields, thinking to myself for hours, meditating and shit. You can find me creating raps, as you said, a lot of different things. So I'm all over the board with a lot of stuff, but yeah, man, I think about life very deeply. I'm very introspective, and I like to share wisdom with people.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Yeah, that's what I always appreciate about you. You're a pretty wise guy. So yeah, we're just gonna keep this very loosey goosey. So
Let's
I
do
know
it.
you're working for Evolution Daily, Aaron Alexander, good friend, good mentor of mine,
Yeah,
and you stopped. Like, what happened there?
yeah. So basically, I remember when I first joined, and for anybody who doesn't know, it's like a dating coach company. I was his personal assistant. I basically joined, and I remember when I first started, I had said something to the effect of like, "Yeah, man, like right now I'm thinking about like 3 years. Like I just had the number three on my mind, like 3 years, and then I'm out." And so weirdly, when I left, it was pretty much like exactly 3 years. It's like in my head, I always think I just had that like time slotted there. And I didn't know what I was going to do next or like where things were going to be exactly, but I just knew like, okay, this is probably when I'm probably going to want to go do something else. And yeah, it ended up just kind of no longer being beneficial for both of us. Honestly, it felt like I had been doing stuff. It got a little like worse over time, but I felt like I was doing less of the things that I came to do when I first started. You know,
Yeah.
a good example being like when I first joined, I was like the editor for like videos and the filmer of videos. Actually, at first I wasn't even editing videos; I was just filming. So I came to film and edit and do like little errands and stuff, and then later I was participating in much bigger things, making courses, filming, and like in bigger ways. And then later it turned to sales. I ended up doing sales calls for all of our clients and everything. I did like tons of sales, hundreds of sales, and then eventually that faded away. And then I started to just do sales. And then it's like, all right, well, now you're just a sales guy. And I'm like, well, okay, but I didn't sign up for this, and like there's a lot of things I ended up doing that I didn't necessarily sign up for, and it just kind of took it went in its own way. And so at one point or another, I just started to feel like, okay, no, this isn't exactly what I want to do anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
But it
And I
hit the
remember
3 year mark.
at the 3 year, it's like he manifested basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember Aaron too. He always appreciated you. He always appreciated like
Uh,
how adaptive you were too. So I no doubt like it seemed like this is a very beneficial move for both of you too, like to kind of
yeah, I
branch.
hope he does. I hope he does amazing things. I
Yeah.
want to see him. I want to see him grow and stuff. I just want to do my own stuff. I got to be more like creative and kind of have my. It was very like one thing about Evolution Daily that I'll just say is like everything was like how Aaron wanted it. You know what I mean? Like if like I would be like, oh, here's an idea, and like he would like kind of humor it. It would be like, oh yeah, like yeah, we'll totally do that. But you know what? Actually, I think we'll just do my idea. Yeah, I think we'll just do my thing. And like so it just ended up always just being like whatever Aaron wanted, like 99% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's, that's understandable too. I mean, dude's business, it's his name on the
of course,
thing. And yeah, I totally get that. And one thing I really respect about you too is like you dropped everything to go join him. Like that takes some balls. Like, what was your why behind that?
I'm crazy, dude. I was a janitor for 9 years in New Jersey, and I had up until that point, I think I had only traveled like once. Like I think I went to Philadelphia once for like an hour. I think I went to New York City maybe once for an hour, and like I never really traveled. And I remembered like like 9 years of being a janitor. Like that's like almost a decade. And I was like, man, like at some point, like that was during all that time, I was reading self-help and doing deep spiritual stuff. But I was like, at some point, I'm leaving my nest and I'm going and doing crazy stuff. I just don't know when. And yeah, man, I mean, he had hit me up to do a little bit of coaching, and I ended up help filming with him and stuff. And that went well, and then I was like, that's pretty cool. It was neat. I wasn't really even gonna go do it again, I don't think. And then he asked me to come to New York City for like a week. And I was like, all right, you know what? Hell, I'll just do it. So I went to New York. We did your program, actually, if you remember. We did that. So it was like that 3 days. And then that time he was like, man, like, I heard what you said about all the spirituality. I got the spiritual coach and stuff. Like, I've been thinking all these things. Like, I want to do this RV trip around the US where we go like do programs in every city for like 2 months straight and stuff. And like it was this sort of situation where it's like, I have to quit my job to go do this. And it's gonna be free, like completely free. And like I was just gonna like, or yeah, like I wasn't gonna get paid. So basically we did that whole, I ended up quitting my job and doing that whole trip all around the US. And at the end of it, he was like, all right, you're gonna work for me full time. My headspace around like doing all that was just like, I feel like I had nothing to lose, honestly. Like I like to just do crazy stuff. Like that just to me, like it was just a good time. Like, I got to not like work all summer. I got to like go see like a bunch of awesome places, meet a bunch of people. Sure, like I didn't get paid for it, but like it's only been the last like year in my life that I've ever really cared about money. Like I never cared about money. So
yeah, you and my girlfriend are very connected right now. It's like you're speaking through each other because we just did ayahuasca this past weekend. Definitely we'll talk about that more. And she's just like, babe, I want to move to Peru and learn how to facilitate. I'm just like,
yeah,
all right, you want to go there for 6 months? Like, fuck. That's a lot for me to take on right now. Like, I'm not saying I'm not against it, but I'm just saying, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Hey man, you gotta follow your heart, man.
Yeah.
I think society will crush you. Like you gotta follow your heart. Like if you have something that speaks to you and there's like some magic in there, it's like everything needs to get thrown. Like I literally, like if it meant keeping my own like self-preservation, like not self-preservation, self-worth, and like my own happiness and my stuff, I'd go homeless if that's what I had to do. I like it's just like I will stop at nothing. The worst thing you could do is like almost be like consumed by another entity, like a business or another thing, and now you're just like, you're just an object of your parents, or you're just an object of your boss. It's like you want to go on your own path and like literally just like follow that magic, because I think that inspiration is telling you something. That inspiration is trying to say like, this is the most important thing that you could possibly do.
Yeah, you're right. And a lot of times, like, we become, basically clone of our parents or even society too. Like in a lot of ways, we're just like, get a 9-to-5 job, like do this, or even like, build your own business. There's entrepreneurships that are just like, oh yeah, just like that's in our clone itself too. Personal development's even a clone itself too. I mean, fuck, you listen to all these gurus and then you're just taking it in. It's just like, just basically just cloning yourself over and over again. What I like about what you said right there is like, hey, follow your own happiness. Like, don't listen to anyone else. Don't listen to your parents. Don't listen to any fucking dude screaming to you on YouTube.
I had the pleasure of not growing up with a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know him now, and like I would have been a completely different person. He would have threw me in the army. He would have threw me in sports. He would have threw me in all these things that I would have hated. And it would have resulted in just me being very unfulfilled and just conforming to whatever that he wanted, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have probably been in some way, shape, or form deeply unhappy by it.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt too. My dad was a drug addict. Well, I don't want to say drug addict, but he just smoked a fuck ton of weed, which you can be addicted to weed. I don't care if it fucking says it, but
sure.
Yeah, and then he was just like not even there. So yeah, I had to like pick myself up and do my own thing a lot of the time. So I resonate with you there, like basically not having a dad. I mean, on my end, I did, but he's just like fucking. You ever see those like remember those Dare commercials where the like person's like sinking into the couch and they're just like this is what happens when Jenny smokes weed and she's like becoming like this this glue in the couch, basically.
Sure.
That was my dad, just this glue in the couch.
Wow.
Yeah, but you watch the movie, or not movie, what TV show Shameless?
No, I've never heard of it.
No, oh, okay, you won't get that then.
Sorry.
But no, you're fine. So how we talk about spirituality on this like podcast a lot, and I'm a spiritual man too. I think I've really tightened the ropes on spirituality. I think this past year, I've seen a lot of crazy shit, and a lot of people do crazy shit in this, like by spiritually bypassing, and then just like, whoa, how long, or well, not how long, but what got you into like spirituality to begin with?
Oh, I was forced. I was absolutely forced. I was super like business and like productivity oriented before the spiritual stuff. And I had all this resistance inside me. And I would have like I had a friend who came over one time and he showed me his crystal. And he was like, yeah, like I had this girlfriend at the time and I had this crystal, and like it felt like the crystal was like giving me a message. And then like my girlfriend broke up, and when I came home, the crystal broke. And I was like, gay? What, you gonna believe a crystal, bro? What are you talking about? Like, I would make fun of, like, if somebody came up to me and was like, I tried mushrooms, I'd be like, bro, you fucked up your brain, you did some weird drug, like what? Now I do fucking mushrooms all the time, but like back in the day, like I wouldn't shit talk it. What happened to me was I was super like time oriented. Like I would manage every minute of my day. I was like mini Jeff Bezos. Like every second of my day was like, I still have one of the timers here actually. I ran my life on these things. 50 minutes to work, 10-minute break, 30 minutes to eat. Like, okay, making the bed took 3 minutes yesterday. What if I did this and it took 2 minutes? Like crazy, like orchestrating my meals so that I ate the same thing every day for like a year, and like just like bouncing the blood sugar, like all this crazy stuff. Like it was just so down to a science. And it is kind of funny because there's a certain point where it's like, were you even productive? Like there would be these big like sort of swings backwards where I just couldn't help it. I would get like so stressed from all of that, and then I would just like eat some pizza or some shit, and then it would just plummet me back down for like a week or something, and I'd be like, why do I like what? And then I'd wake up the next day like, okay, I gotta like analyze like why I ate this pizza, like I have to stop this. Nowadays I'll eat whatever the fuck I want. Like you have to go with the flow. I didn't realize that at the time. I was not in touch with my body. I was in touch with how I feel. I wasn't like I was too in resistance to things that be like, if something is just what it is, like let's say I'm just craving food and like I have this much hours before sleep and this needs to get done, this needs to get done. It's just like, okay, well, like these are just all the factors. Like I need to adapt to this, and I need to be able to have like that emotional ability to bounce back. I was able to bounce back quickly from like setbacks physically, like productivity wise. Like, okay, I made up that time by like spending the first hour of my morning like thinking about why I messed up last night. But then now it's like, okay, like I just go with the fucking flow. If I want to fucking do absolutely nothing for months, I know that I'm leaving millions of dollars on the table by doing that. And I don't care, because that's how much my life is worth to me. Like, I just don't care. Like, I just don't give a shit. Like, I understand how important it is to just do whatever I want, even if it's just laying down for weeks. And that's not even something I do. Like, I'm naturally driven. I do have things that I want to do, but like, like life's tough. You go to work a lot. You got a lot going on. Life's more stressful now than it ever has been in some ways. And so it's like but I want to get up and I just want to do stuff. So, but my body gets tired. I've dealt with like chronic fatigue and things like that for a while. I'm kind of sorry, I'm all over the place with this, but it's like with that whole spiritual thing, transitioning from the productivity to spirituality, I was forced because one day I got burnt out and it didn't go away. One day I just hit a wall where I would like, be really, really productive. And then I would like have a fall down where I'm just like in a lull. And then I would like pull myself back out of it. And then I do it again. And then one time I just never pulled myself out of it. And it was like, this feels different. I don't know what happened. But what I noticed was I had been like 9-10 years deep into like success stuff, right? Trying to achieve something. And I still hadn't gotten anywhere close to it. And I was like, something's wrong here. Like I did not like just spend a decade doing all this stuff and like feel like, how did I not get somewhere after all that? Like, and now I'm tired. So I know I'm physically dead. That means I did stuff, but it wasn't even close to what I needed to do in order to get any kind of real leeway on stuff. And this was before I even made a single song on my rap album. Like I spent like so many years trying to make that. I just couldn't. It was a lot of work and a lot of intricacies, but basically like everything I had worked on just had crumbled and I just got depressed. And but like the way I get depressed is different probably from like the way most people get depressed. Like I don't do like alcohol or like I don't do anything bad. Like I just eat bad food and that's like fun for me, but I like recharge. So I just recharge for like days and days, weeks, months. And I think I started consuming the spiritual stuff because it just spoke to me at the time. And I would go to work, and for the first time, I would have these long like weeks or months where I would just go to work, and every day would be like just like the lights gone from my eyes. And like I did that, and I like that what I realized is the practice of going there every day and just being calm instead of spending 8 hours doing what I was doing at work, but like being really upset. Like I would sweep these, I was a janitor, so I would sweep floors all day. And then I would be thinking all 8 hours, like, how do we get out of this? How do we fix this? How can I solve this? Why am I in this situation? And it just over a period of months turned into quiet. And then that like manifested evolution daily, that manifested more money, that manifested like crazy things. And like the second I like started to believe some shit with spirituality, synchronicity start happening and like just everything you can imagine starts happening, like the craziest shit. And then like now it's happening again. Like I left Evolution Daily a couple months ago now. I forget how many months it's been. I like to say 7. I don't know how long it's been now. But basically, like I got the most physically demanding, grueling job I could ever get, which is FedEx package handler. You're in a warehouse. You work 10 hours a day. You are physically exhausted. Like they say, like, huh, work out while you work, but it's like clearly like overworking out. Like you never get a workout. You die every day. And like I didn't even know I was going to be able to adapt to it. And there was also just a lot of different things that I was thinking about at the time. Like I was getting like resentment, like deep resentment about like just again kind of similar wave to like what I had previous experienced like years ago when I was a janitor. And I was like I'm in these like trailers and I'm hanging and doing these packages and lifting this heavy shit. And I'm like getting really resentful about like where my life had taken me. Like, how could I be 32 and like lifting this shit? Like, how could it be like this? And I'm like, it's the same shit. Like months go by and now it's just quiet. And suddenly like I keep getting like different little opportunities coming my way. And I've had like a lull in creativity for a while and now it's all coming back. Like I have all this creativity coming back to me and stuff. So it's like when you fucking can quiet all the shit, like you start going deeper, you know, and you never really know like which way the universe is going to kind of take you, which is part of the fun. But it's also scary as fuck because you just, you know, you never know where the universe is going to take you. Like just before, like, so this is kind of funny, little side tangent. You know, when Aaron and I were talking about me leaving, he was like, okay, look, like, if you really want to go, like, here, like, you got 2 weeks, you're out in 2 weeks. And I had like half a paycheck. And I was like, oh, fuck. I literally bought the Vagabonding book. I don't know if you know that book. It's a self-help book. It's like a guy who basically has no money and basically mopeds around like the US. And he's like living homeless basically. And he's like he's kind of doing favors for people and like just making some money somehow. But like the idea is like you're living on your own away from society. Like that's what I thought I was gonna have to do. I was like, all right, I guess it's like a level under van life. Like now you just have a moped. Like I don't even know where I was gonna get a moped. But like I bought the book and then I was like, all right, here we go. And then, you know, luckily FedEx caught me before I fell. But the way I view it is like everything's connected. Like the fucking universe knows exactly where the fuck you are at any moment. And it knows what you're going through and it's going to shove you in shit that you don't understand. And it's like, you know, my mother always used to say like God works in mysterious ways. I think that's a very like relevant quote for this situation. But basically, yeah, it just all amounted to, you know, me leaving and not knowing where I was going. And then weirdly, after months go by, like things just start getting better, you know? And so it's like people have these things that like frustrate them or like situations in life that are really like traumatizing or bad. And in the moment, like, yeah, you're not going to know how to deal with it or process it fully. But then like usually, unless it's like a really deep thing, usually after like a long time goes by, and a lot of inner work and scars and battle bruises, like you have a way better context of it. And like it's obviously not like fun to say when like you're in the shit, you know, don't worry. Like I know it sucks to eat a can of beans under the fucking Brooklyn Bridge now, but like 10 years you'll be laughing about this. You're like, I'm not laughing now, you know, you're like homeless or some shit. But like yeah, like down the road, like I do expect like most things to turn out okay. And then even for the things that don't, it's like, okay, there's lessons in there somewhere.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's a lot to unbox right there. And it kind of sounds like too, like spirituality really got you into a sense of authenticity because you're able to really calm your brain and listen to the universe and kind of just go with the flow, really, and see where that leads you. Like screw the money, screw like knowing how or why or anything, but just kind of just go with the flow. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm like super heavily like intuitive. And it's also weird because it's like, because all this stems from your body. And like, you probably wouldn't expect me to take this in this way, but like, spirituality is also like very heavily body awareness. Like, it's actually like 80% body awareness because like, technically, every emotion is like a chemical in your body. And like, technically, every time you ask how you feel, you're really just asking, like, how does my body feel? And so your physical like being, you're just your physical component, you know, not the soul or the higher self or any of that. Like just your body is like everything you're feeling, basically. It's like, how do you feel on earth? How do you feel here? So like I'm tuned in to like how I feel. And so that's like body awareness. And you know, a lot of people say things like, why do you look really young? You know? Well, I don't know, I think a lot of fun thoughts. I don't know, like I'm not thinking like an old person. Like maybe there's something to that. Like I fucking feel like, you know, I have a lot of good body awareness. Like my mom used to tell me when I was young, like I hated being dirty as a baby. Like I hated it. Like I wanted to be clean like instantly. And like I do that too. Like I'll touch like a couple like a little money or something and I would feel like I'd like wash my hands. It's like I just have like a very like keen, like subtle body awareness. And it's like I think a lot of times that keeps me making the right decisions with food. It keeps me from getting sick. I think like because I eat like shit sometimes, but like I don't know, I have a really fast metabolism, and I feel like I look good, and so it's like it's kind of weird. Like you spirituality, you do develop like a strong like sense of things, sense of your body, sense of your feelings, sense of your emotions. You start to like feel more, especially when you take ayahuasca or some I've never done ayahuasca actually, but I've done mushrooms a couple times, and
yeah. How many times have you done mushrooms?
5 times.
5 times? Okay. I
Yeah.
think teens, but I lost track, honestly. It's just
Yeah.
Ayahuasca, yeah, I love mushrooms, don't get me wrong. Mushrooms are very mind orientated, I feel like, and not very body orientated, kind of like what you're saying. Ayahuasca, it's both. It can be very mind orientated, very body orientated too. And it can also adapt. Like in my last ceremony, like there's a lot of people that felt like they were flying high and they're just like, bro, I'm seeing shit where I just like I can't even understand. Just a lot of visuals. There's some people are just throwing up. There are some people that don't feel anything at all. And then 4 hours in, it hits them like a wrecking ball. There's some people where it just happened to myself, where it's just like I'm just having a psychiatric breakdown right now, and I'm just like talking to myself and just crying, and there's no real visuals. So it's a really interesting medicine. It really meets you where you're at. It really meets you where you're at. It's intelligent.
I would hope so. Yeah, that's interesting that you say that too. Like it's intelligent. Like I think anybody who hasn't like messed with the stuff like probably wouldn't understand like what that means. But like I totally get what you mean by it's intelligent. It's like the way I always thought about it is it's like, again, this may or may not be true, but it's like let's say you take some mushrooms. It's like the way I see that is like a phone call. You know, like ring, 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 and then some like really intelligent being somewhere, some highly intelligent, non-physical thing hears the call, and then like that 40 minutes before you actually start tripping, they're just looking at your brain and they're crafting the trip. And they're just like, all right, here you go. And when you feel the trip, you're like, there's no way this wasn't like written or scripted. Like some of this stuff is better than any movie I've ever watched. Like how could randomness be that undeliberate? Like, you know what I mean? And so, and like the shit that I saw, like it's just retarded. Like, sorry, I don't know if you can say that in your podcast or not, but like, but basically it's like the stuff that I've like gone through is like so ridiculous in these trips. It's better than anything I've ever seen a human made. And it's like that's what's so crazy about it. And that's what it means to be like, wow, this is like led by something intelligent.
Yeah, and mushrooms, they're really intelligent too. Don't get me wrong. I see mushrooms as like that good friend, and you're just sitting on your porch, and he comes up and he just talks to you, and that conversation that can go in a million fucking directions. That's the way I feel, because I was just like,
Sure.
and I in my trips too, like the mushrooms like talk to me, and it's really fascinating too. And there's a lot of things around mushrooms where it really brings a lot of internal things to the external. It's like dreaming. It's like dreaming in a lot of ways, where it's just like you're seeing all these visuals and it's hard to make sense out of it. And a lot of people take dreams like too literate. Like dreams, like don't get me wrong, I feel like they do have a meaning.
Yeah.
But there's also sometimes where like psychologists know this, like dreaming is like basically taking your brain and sponging and just like getting the water out. Like I had a dream the other night where I was just like hitting all the stop signs, like left and right. And I was like, why am I hitting all these stop signs? Like, what's going on? Well, earlier that day, I was hitting every stop sign known to mankind in this neighborhood that I wasn't like thinking about. Does that mean in a past life I was a stop sign? No. Like it was just mean that like I experienced.
You don't know that.
Who the fuck knows?
You don't know that, man.
But regardless, I'm just like, yeah. So I do believe that dreams are, they do hold, emphasis too. And similar to mushrooms too. There's a lot of times I've taken mushrooms where I'm just like also seeing shit like throughout the day where it's just like once again, stop signs. Why am I seeing all these stop signs? Like, and there's also things where I'm just like, holy shit, I didn't know that about myself. Like, wow. Like, with ayahuasca, though, because there's DMT involved. Have you ever done DMT?
No, I want to. I have, I don't know if I should say it. I have half of what you need to make ayahuasca, but it's like the legal half.
Oh, I got you.
There's like a legal half and an illegal half. I have the half.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I've never, I'd have to go to a ceremony or something.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. With ayahuasca, with the DMT, like the visuals are just so, there's no words I can use to describe them. There's zero words. Like, I guess at one point, I was describing this to my buddy. I'm just like, I was in this clown house and it transformed into this octopus who transformed into this mountain, who transformed into this big alien octopus mountain. Like, and then there was also things too, where it's just like, I can't even like, and it was way more colorful too.
Do you believe that like, because this is the truth with mushrooms, like often you have a trip and it's not just meant for that 8 hours. It's like meant for like the next several months.
Yeah.
Like you have that trip and then it's like, this makes sense later. This makes sense even later. This makes sense even later. And now like, you're like, am I still tripping? Is this the trip? Like, am I going to wake up from the trip? Like what, you know what I mean? Like you start like still getting conclusions from the trip months later, which is nutty.
Really feel like, and I haven't like voiced this yet to anyone, but I feel like in some ways I predict the future under my psychedelic trips and mushrooms.
Wow.
Like this last one, I did a trip. God, it was like probably in December. It was just a solo trip, and bro, like towards the end, there was just like this big loud message that said, hey, don't hang out with your friend that you're hanging out with. Do not.
Okay.
Like, and we were going to go to his New Year's Eve party too. And it was just like, no, he's doing some wacky shit. No, don't. Like, flat out don't. And I like was like, okay. And then I ended up going to New Year's Eve party with my girl, and he ended up saying some really fucking bad, like really judgmental shit to my girl and like really like hurting her. Yeah, it was like really some bad shit. And I was just like, holy shit, guys. Okay, sorry I didn't believe you. And there's been other like secrecies like that too.
If I like something about synchronicities, which is really interesting because I have like an interesting like take on it, is it's like I take every single thing as something. And you might be like, well, why do you do that? How do you know if something's something or not? And it's like, if you actually just like, this is kind of weird, but it's like, if you actually believe that like it's something, then the universe is kind of actually forced to make it something. And here's why. Let's say you were like, oh, 5 rock. If I look down and I see 5 rocks on the ground, that means I'm gonna go jump off a cliff. Like the universe actually doesn't want you to die. It wants you to go through this. And so it's gonna keep you on track. You know? Now I don't know when you're fucking with it. You're like, oh, 5 rocks, I'm gonna kill myself. Oh, 5 rocks. It's like, no, I know you're fucking with it. But like if it's like some serious shit that you're gonna, that tarot card is gonna flip over and you're gonna do whatever's on it, like it can't not be good for you. That's my like theory about it personally.
Mhm.
The funny thing that you said with the stop signs, like, because everybody views these things differently, right? Like interprets the dreams different, interprets synchronicities different, the trips. If I saw stop signs, that would mean for me, I could tell you straight up, like, oh shit, there's something I'm doing that is telling me to stop. A thought, a fucking thing have been doing these last few days, like something. And I would even like time it, like when did the dream start? Like, oh, okay, it was something I've been doing for the last 3 days. Like I'm like crazy with that kind of shit because I don't know anything. Like people call me smart all the time. It's like I just follow the white rabbit everywhere. Like I literally couldn't tell you just how like accurate that is. I could not tell you how much my life is just intuition and like I don't even think. It's like at this point, like when you get to the point like with spirituality, because like again, just before spirituality was productivity, using like mental energy to like do the best possible. And it's like, how do you get to the next level? Like, how do you do the best possible? The next possible is you relinquish your ego and you say, there's better beings than me that know what my next step is. And instead of planning every part of my day like some kind of narcissist, I'm going to just leave it to the universe and go, no, they know better. And what's cool about that is I save energy because now I'm not making those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I don't make any fucking decisions. Like, honestly, if I'm being honest, like, I just wake up and ask, like, how I feel. How do I feel? And then I just do shit. And then when I see something that sticks out, I know for whatever reason, I know repetition or, numbers that are all the same number or whatever. I have this little thing on my phone. It's like, so if you see like 111 or 222 or 333, like every number from 1 through 9, it tells you like what that means. And so every time I see it, I just go to it. And it always just fucking makes sense. And I do it for everything. I do for like animals and shit. What does it mean when you see a bat? What does it mean when you see a deer? Like I'm actually pretty crazy with it. And like, again, like part of it's also fun. Like I just like to do it because then you have nothing. Like if I just stop looking around for synchronicities, like what do I really have? Then you just start looking at reality. It's like you're trying to create reality. You're trying to like manifest reality. You're trying to like make better stuff. It's like if you just look at what is right now, it might like be like kind of bleak or whatever. And it might trick you into thinking that like better stuff doesn't exist. But like if you don't see magic right now, that doesn't mean magic doesn't exist. It means you got to follow it. Right. So it's like I'm heavy on the intuition and I look for synchronicities like everywhere. And you can just make new ones up if you want. Like, you just be like, all right, like a chicken means this. And then you'll just start seeing chickens whenever it means that thing. Yeah. Like I've literally done that with trains. Like I lived by this place where a train would go by and like it would be like pretty random when it went by. But I would just be like, all right, like, and there's 2 trains and like one going that way means one thing, one going that way means 2, and there's 2 trains, it means this. And like literally like it would just always work out. It would just like always be whatever the fuck I needed. Like, okay, like the top train going to the right, that's yes. And like, dude, like it's just crazy like how ridiculous I got to it for like shit to still like make sense in my own like little world.
Yeah, you're right. And you put it right there on the spot. Like, and I have a hard time with spirituality because spirituality means a lot of things. Spirituality means a lot of things. When you say spirituality, it's just like you're open up this door for all these belief systems. And what I like about what you said right there is that one belief system I have is like, hey, we do like work with the universe to make things happen. We 100% do. And the way we show up, our beliefs and just the way we act in the world, we are coexisting with the universe. We're co-creating with the universe too. I'm a strong believer in that. And what I like about what you just said right there is that you're really big into your belief system. You're really big into like finding those small little synchronicities or just making it up. And then the funny thing is like when you have that belief system, it tends to like create new things in your life every day. I love that.
You know how like with responsibility, you can like basically find a way to take responsibility for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could even take responsibility for like I don't know, like 9/11, for example. Like, how was I responsible for 9/11? Well, I
Yeah,
guess
you absolutely were. Like, you absolutely were.
I didn't make a call the day before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously I didn't know, but I didn't like make a call to the president, like, hey, just so you know, you better stop this. Like,
Sure.
you can find responsibility anywhere. It's the same thing with like doing like some mushroom trip. Like, there's a lot of people I see where they're like, yeah, I saw a bunch of penguins and they were all Nazis, and it's like, okay, but like, what does that mean? Like, I could, if it were me, I'd be like making meaning out of everything and trying to go deeper. So it's like the trip's cool, but you can literally go deeper in the trip by reflecting on it and then being like, all right, well, what's the stuff that like I don't know what it was about? And then you just make it about something, you know? And same with dreams or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the difference between dreaming and doing a trip is you're saying, hey, I really care about this. And you're taking action to make it like bigger. Because when you do like a mushroom trip, it's like you set an intention. Oh, I really, you know what, universe, I really want to know about like how women work, or I really want to know, you know, what else is out there besides human beings, or like I really want to know like why I'm here, why did you create me, or why I had to go through the struggles I went through. Like, if you set your intention first, then I believe the trip will actually help guide you in that direction.
Yeah, no, it will, without a doubt. And sometimes, like, hey, like you set an intention, it's like, all right, we're going to give you something, but it's not going to be your intention. It's just we're just going to meet you where you're at. And I look at life as like, bro, I set an intention every day. Actually, I set an intention every year. Like, I don't do goals anymore. I do intentions, because goals itself, it gets you back in that whole productivity thing. And don't get me wrong, there are certain paradigms in life where, hey, man, it's good to set goals. It's 100% good. Like, it's good to have that. And it might be good for you, but right now where I'm at, I'm just like, I'm setting intentions. This is my intention for this today. Today, I was coming on. It's like, bro, my intention is to have a great fucking podcast episode of Hunter here and kind of dive deeper into some topics of film.
Yeah.
My intention tomorrow is like, hey, I have a ton of clients I'm working with. I want to help them. And just having those intentions right there.
Yeah.
That's powerful itself, because I believe that allows me to coexist in the universe and be like, hey, Brent, this is my intention today. And universe, I want you to help me out to make this the best thing fucking possible.
Yeah. Well, even that in like a way is its own like productivity. Like, because I've gotten to this place where like wanting the goal, like, okay, so this is like kind of crazy, but it starts to get like really crazy when like so like I've never had trouble with like inspiration before. Like, I've always just had like plenty of creative ideas for like whatever I want to do, whether it's music or videos or fun stuff with friends. Like, I make all kinds of shit. Most of the stuff I make, it's actually really good, but like you don't see it because a lot of stuff, like I made a you know those like iceberg videos? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's like the you know, the something iceberg explained. I made a 50-minute iceberg explained about all the memes that exist within my friend chat. Like literally like this mastermind I do with my friends. Like, I've made a 50-minute like well-made video about like every joke like every inside joke we've ever made. And they love it. They watch it every time I visit like New Jersey and shit. And it's funny because it's like it's so personal that I can't even upload it. Like, I've made like just crazy stuff. I've never had like I've always had ideas, but then recently I did have sort of like a dip in ideas, and it was right around when I was starting to think about like making money. I'm like, well, what could I make money doing? Oh, you know, you like that rap stuff, or oh, you like doing this. And the problem is when you make it about something else, like a lot of that like inspiration starts to dissipate for different reasons, you know. And so like something I kind of had to work myself like into is realizing like, okay, well, why don't we just like sit here and brainstorm them? Like, we'll just brainstorm more ideas. And like even that though is still coming from wanting money over inspiration, and like being in a hurry to get somewhere because you want to get out of the situation you're in. And like I'm big on that too. Like inspiration is moving towards something versus like desperation is like wanting to get away from something. And a lot of people, too many people in this world, have this thing where it's like, well, I want more money. And it's like, well, why? Do you like getting money? And it's like, no, I just like, what I like is I just don't want to live with my dad anymore. And it's like, or something. And it's just like, the thing is like, they just want to get away from something. And that's the only way you're going to create shit is if you just like, you love rap, or you love YouTube, or you love music, or you love like self-development. Like, you have to love something. You have to be for something. Like there has to be something that you fight for, because if you're trying to get away from like a painful situation, oftentimes just sucks you right back in. It's like a spider web. It's like
Yeah,
you didn't really truly break from it until you had something else to focus on.
for sure. And you see that too in the spiritual community. It's like people use spirituality as an outlet, and it's coming from a place of desperation rather than inspiration. You see that people in personal development too. They tell it stems from a person of desperation rather than inspiration. You see that.
I don't know if I told you this. Like I've been such a big like self-development person for so long, but like I've reached this point where it's like I feel, I like to say, I've gotten out of self-development. Like because there's people that get in it and they never leave.
Never.
And like the like okay, like so isn't it cool when you go to your first like, I don't know, like self-development seminar and you meet that guy who's like all about it, and it's like he's like, dude, like I'm reading this book and this thing and this thing. Like you got to try this, you got to meditate, you got to like do this ayahuasca, and then like you like, I don't know, you come back like 15 years later and like he's like, yeah, dude, like now I'm reading this book and one day I'm gonna be this, and it's like, dude, like you're the same person, like you know what I mean? Like you want to
change.
You want to get out of self-help. Like you should use it to get to the things you want rather. I mean, but some people love self-development too, so it's hard.
Yeah, no, I think it's more just around like authenticity. Is this making you more you? Really, that's what I look at. Is it making
for sure
me more me? Like rather than trying to make me something else. And it's just about being honest with yourself too. Like, is spirituality making me more me, and is personal development making me more me? Like, yeah, without a doubt too. And there's some things in spirituality where I'm just like, that ain't me, dog. And there's some things in personal development where I'm just like, that ain't me, dog. And you can try those hats on. I think we all need to try hats on. We all need to see like, hey, what works for me? What does it? What belief systems need to work? What doesn't? And just kind of, fuck around with it. Really, we all have those.
Dude, I mean, it's like, it's an even bigger conversation when you start getting into like self-worth and like everyone having their own personal beliefs. Like, so everybody wants to like succeed in something in one way or another, right?
Yeah, of course.
But there's only like 4 major sports. There's only so many topics. It's like things get competitive, right? Like there's like just different landscapes, different like platforms that people try to get on. There's a million podcasts. It's like you start competing. And then but like the thing that makes it all better is when you find yourself, you have self-awareness enough to know what you're about, and then you realize you were never competing. And it's like really hard to do that in today's world, because like even though like we promote like express yourself, we're promoting express yourself in this way that's just sort of like, buy a red shirt over a blue shirt. It's not like just thinking outside the box, like express yourself, like you're gonna come up with some shit that no one's ever heard of before, because you're gonna go in this crazy avenue, that like is counterintuitive and stuff like that. So it's like people, I think every single like person is like meant to be here and is unique, and like they're meant to bring something to the table.
Yeah, I see like every human being is their own planet. They all have their own like terrain, their own climate, and they're all just meant to be in this universe, this galaxy.
Planet Travis.
Yeah, really. It's a fucking crazy ass place. Lots of fire.
It's all burned to the ground. I don't know.
No, without a doubt. And that's one thing like Aya showed me too, is like, hey, we're all meant to be here for some reason. And our actions, it all has a ripple effect. Like our actions are inactions. Even the smallest little thing has a ripple effect over time and on other people. That's one thing I took from like one of my first ayahuasca ceremonies. She, brought me to a big lake, and there was like this big meteor that fell in this lake. I still remember this to this day. And as that meteor went in the lake and the ripple effects were like falling out of the lake, I just really felt a lot of like pain for like the veteran community going through war, and just not even the pain for the vets, but also the pain that war causes in general to the vet spouses, to their children, on over time. And even, think about war itself, not even the veteran, like just war itself. That's a big ripple effect itself.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of pain, a lot of crying around that. And I actually spoke to me where it's just like, war is not, there's no negative or positive ripple effect. There's just ripple effects, but there are less conscious ripple effects. Like there are certain paradigms where conflict, it's a very less conscious type of thing, because it's a part of our brain that's just so primitive. So it's just like, understand, like, make the best conscious like effects that you possibly can. And one of the best like ripple effects that you can possibly make is being a service to other people. Do something every day to try to be a service seller, whether that's like wishing someone good thoughts. If that's a bare minimum you can do, that's great. Picking up like a piece of trash on the side of the street. Does it, count in the big scheme of things? No, but it's still something to do.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up, because it's like, this is something that's been on my mind probably the better half of the last few weeks. It's like just giving to people.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. I saw it was like a quick little one of those quick videos it was on YouTube or Facebook. It's a short like minute video. It was like a clip of like I think it was like Shaquille O'Neal or something. And he says like, my money 10x when I woke up every day and started thinking about like every decision, like how is this helping other people? Like how is this contributing or servicing? I forget the wording he used, but like it's basically the gist of it. It's like, I'm giving to others. Like how can I make people's lives better? Was I think it was. But it's like the second you start thinking like that, like 10x, like literally just 10x. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, no, and it's absolutely true, man. I mean, on a spiritual level, yeah, you're really manifesting some really good stuff for, yourself and others. On a psychological level, like it feels good in ourselves to give.
Yeah.
Like it feels good.
Well,
like,
you know what? Yeah.
It makes us younger. Like,
yeah. Something else is like, especially in like today's world, like people will not let you take things from them.
mm-hmm.
Like people are done with like everything trying to take from them. And this is why does like Amazon succeed so well? It's like, sure, like, yeah, like you click a button and you get what you want. It's like you get like, you literally, like everybody just gets what they want. And now Amazon has like shit tons of money. And it's like, or like Google, like you just ask a question and like, there you go. You don't have to go to 12 years of school. You just ask the question that you want to know. It's like when people do what they want and nothing's standing in their way, like you're one of two people. Like you're either standing in people's way or you're not. And like, I don't necessarily like the idea of like good and bad people, but like if you're standing in someone's way, like you're gonna have problems. Like someone's gonna shove you out of the way or like something. Like you have to let people have what they want. And like even if like just looking at human history, like war or whatever, it's like it's just very few people getting what they want and not caring about what everyone else wants, versus like the future, which is like, instead of getting a job and like committing myself to a job, I could just go do Uber Eats. I can get a non-committed job and just like go do like it's just like people just getting what they want. Like that's where the world's moving.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that too, because there's just so much autonomy now. And to be fair too, like I think the ways of manipulation are, stronger too, of other people getting what they want and other people getting in the way. Like, and you see that a lot. This is why we're so fucking addicted to our goddamn fucking little things, because there are certain ways, like, okay, hey, there are a lot of ways that people can get.
I like my little thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, still, regardless, but it's just like, okay, there are a lot of ways for people to get what they want. Yeah. How do we get what we want? All these people that are trying to have this type of freedom. That's why I'm just like, bro, like, I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, I just want to be fucking on a plot of land. Like, I want to be farming. Like, I never thought I'd fucking say this. I live in the city right now, but me and my girl were just like, we just want to have a fucking farm. Like, let me have my fucking alpacas where I can just stroke them and sell their fluff. Like,
I just went to an alpaca farm.
Did you? Yeah, that's literally the life I want, because it's all on me. It's literally all the fuck on me. It's not on the government. It's not on fucking Amazon. It's on me and making that life for myself and my family. And I feel like that too. That's a way that society is like going to, like, we're tribal creatures. Like we are flat out tribal creatures. We're not meant to be in fucking New York City with 2 million people on a damn island. That's a science experiment. I think my buddy Adam told me that. That's a science experiment. It's a science experiment. We're not meant to live in these cities. A lot of my clients, what I noticed from all my clients and why they're so stressed out, one variable is they all live in a heavy populated city. That is so much stimulus. And you want to talk about spirituality? Spirituality to me is like also being connected to nature, not your body, like the body of the fucking universe, nature. Like you're not connected to nature, bro. Like this, like Times Square isn't fucking nature. Like, so yeah, it's. I think there are ways that we are becoming more autonomous as human beings, but I think there are ways that we're becoming less autonomous too, and we get really addicted to certain habits. Like, bro, I know some people are just like can't leave their fucking phone at the gym. They're just like on the elliptical, like this, like, and it's we have freedom, but in a lot of ways, it's getting taken away from us in new effective ways.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I'll clarify on is like everyone's gonna start like hating probably businesses more, resenting is a better word. Government, business and structures. Everyone's gonna have like a resentment towards it. And what's gonna happen is like it's gonna build like two camps. And there might be big movements where people go out west. You know what I mean? There might be big movements where people like fucking move and stuff, but like ultimately, like that control did never leave like anybody's hands. You know what I mean? It's like you will kind of realize that like productivity has a place, and you'll realize too that like yes, like things were done to make you like feel as though you lost control, but like your hand was still on the lever. And then it's like at that point, what can you hate?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, 100%. I totally agree with you. Like, similar to how we were talking about how like you work with the universe to manifest your destiny. Like you work with everything to manifest your destiny, bro. Like you being addicted to like porn, jerking off all fucking night, like you're the one who's watching it. You're the one. You have a sense of responsibility here.
Sure. You're responsible. Your hand's on the lever for sure.
Your hand is literally on the lever, dog. So yeah, without a doubt. So I do love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. And ayahuasca is fucking fantastic too, man. You gotta try it sometime. Like
No, that's the plan. One of these years. I have wanted to do it. It's just it costs money to do it legally.
well, yeah, legally. I did it at a church here legally, and it was only like $200. Like,
Oh really?
oh
So
yeah.
there's cheaper ways to do it, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, it was a really great ceremony too. I've flat out had a psychiatric breakdown. I never had a breakdown like that before. I was like literally in this dark room, just covered in blankets, crying. I was like this big crying blanket monster.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a great experience, man. And afterwards, like you feel so much, and you still what I really like about ayahuasca too, and this is different from mushrooms. After my first experience with ayahuasca, I still felt ayahuasca for 6 months straight afterwards. Every day. There'll be sometimes I'll be sitting at my computer, I can feel the DMT kick in. And I'll be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And you
well, the shit gives you superpowers sometimes, right? Like you bring stuff with you. Like I felt like after my second trip, after I had like an ego death, I felt like on some level, like I had never like thoughts in like the fifth dimension, and that like from that point forward I now have thoughts in like the fifth dimension. Like it's just like it's just crazy sometimes where it's just like, and obviously it's like most people would just look at you and be like, yeah, nothing changed, I see nothing different, but like you feel something different for sure.
Yeah, on the internal level, yeah, you are different different in many ways. Like literally when I came back, it was for my first trip, it was just like, bro, I feel like I aged 10 years inside, but everything looks the same. I was only gone for 10 days. Like I went to get down to Costa Rica for 10 days. I'm just like, fuck, I was losing my shit. I'm just like, I need to buy new furniture.
Hey, I changed a guy's life one time telling him about how your environment is your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I went minimalistic for a long time, and I just threw away like pretty much everything I had. And I only had so many things, like maybe 30 things, and I was living that minimalism life, but they say like your environment, your room is your brain, you know what I mean? I heavily, like if my room's messy, I have a messy brain. Like if it's clean, like my thoughts are clear. Like it's just like your living space is your mind. And so like I do think that that's a good sign too, like when you're moving up, that like your furniture's changing actually.
Yeah, like I needed more art, I needed more plants, I need to be around. I remember when I got back, and because I live in a city, there's like barely any plants or trees or shit. Like I literally went to Qualities and sat in the produce section. I'm just like, I need to be around plants right now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So it's absolutely a wonderful experience, and but definitely highly recommend. Like a lot of psychedelics are fucking amazing in its own. Every single psychedelic I've done, I got something from. And honestly, I feel like mushrooms have been a 10x teacher than Tony fucking Robbins to me.
He's probably on mushrooms.
Probably. Well, my friend, we need to wrap it up here. Before we wrap it up, how can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
I mean, reach out like Hunter Sasso on Facebook, and then if they're looking to like see what I'm doing now, like lately I've been doing. I'm trying to get into YouTube actually. I want to make like YouTube videos. At first, I was thinking like funny skits and stuff, but now I think I just want to make like there's people that just make videos for views, and as weird as that sounds, and like I like the science behind that, like the science of YouTube and like holding retention, and like there's a lot of like little nuances to like making a good video that would just get a lot of views in general, and it really comes in through like the idea and like a lot of thinking beforehand, and like that's where I thrive honestly. Like I feel like I'm really good at like brainstorming and stuff, and I already have like some good ideas I want to try and stuff. Obviously like nowadays in the YouTube landscape, you make better stuff if you have teams of people. That's what like seems to be the case now. Is like it's not how it used to be where somebody just makes videos in their bedroom. But so maybe I'll start to expand with like more people and stuff down the road. But like for now, it's just like I just want to make videos and stuff. And that channel is called Hunter Studios. I'm actually uploading a video tonight. Actually, so yeah.
Cool, dog. Well, awesome. Appreciate you. And of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.